So today we're going to talk about contract lengths and why it's so important to you as the seller to negotiate with them and what to watch out for when coming to list your home. So contract lengths. Well, what are they? First of all, let's cover them really quickly. So when you come to list your home, your estate agent will come down and sit with you. Once you've negotiated with it, we always recommend that you get 3 valuations. Most people do. Get 3 valuations on your home. When you choose the agent you want to list with, one of the things they're going to present you with is their contract, their terms of business. Now, most contract lengths are vary in this country between 6 weeks up to 6 months, generally speaking. You normally have to give a 28-day notice period when doing those. So basically what that means is when the agent you choose lists your home, within those 6 weeks, you cannot take your home anywhere else to market it. If that agent doesn't do a good job, you are stuck with them. If you bring on another agent and sell your home within that time period, more often than not, that contract protects that first agent and you would then be liable to pay them a fee as well. Now, when you come to the end of the 6 weeks, you do then have to give them you can give them notice. That 28 days starts from that. So 28 days, so it ends up being more likely 10 weeks. Where you can start and get on this earlier is if you do it much earlier at the 4-week mark and then go forward. With any contract you get, you will have 2 weeks to rescind that contract, so then you can get out of it and early, remove yourself from that agent, and then you're free to go back where you are. You've only got 2 weeks from the time that you sign that contract. You need to sign the contract, or you can be liable in some cases if you engage with terms of business. You want to be careful on this side of it, but making sure that agent provides you with upfront information, give you time to decide. If they give you a contract to sign and then take it away to their office, and you don't get a copy, that is also becomes null and void at that point. So you can get out of it if you are stuck within a contract. What is really important to know is that as a seller, you are able to negotiate the length of contract. Just because it's their standard terms, it's very rare that an estate agent will not be flexible on that. Quite often than not, you'll see a contract presented to you and that field will be left blank for the agent to fill in, and they will write their number in it potentially. Some will do it in more modern ways, online contracts in which it's typed in, but either way, it's generally negotiable. And it's really important to negotiate that down to the shortest possible term. The reason why you want to negotiate your contract down to such a low term, or as we do at Nest, a 0-week contract, which basically means that you're in control at all points. If you as a seller are not happy with the services of your agent, you do not want to feel stuck. We kind of liken it to if you started a job and you said to them, look, if you went to work somewhere and said, regardless of how much effort I put in, regardless of how much work I do, you will pay me for the next 6 weeks or 6 months. Now, most people will say, well, no, not a chance. You need to prove yourself before we start paying you. And obviously that is all, very dependent week by week, depending on your performance, etc. And you would expect it to be that way. It should be no different when agent listing your home. It is normally your most expensive asset, and it needs to be taken with the right proper care. Now, an estate agent can be very good at telling you what you want to hear on the day of the valuation. They could overinflate the price of your home to get you on board. You feel that they've got more trust, or you believe that they will get you a higher price because of their enthusiasm, which is one element. But if they tell you a high price, get you stuck on the market over the course of the next 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months, you may feel that you need to reduce. It's called instruction for reduction in this industry. So it's something to watch out for. And the one way to combat that, so you've always got control. It's your home at the end of the day. We feel at Nest, for example, that you should never be tied into a contract. It's your home, your choice. If you're not happy with the service, you're not happy with the quality, you're always free to go where you want. And you want to put that power back in your hands. So contract lengths are so important. And making sure, and this also makes sure that the agent is constantly engaging with your home and making sure they get sold. They don't want to lose out on that sale commission. So make sure that keeping them on their toes at all times doesn't lull them into a false sense of security. Doesn't mean, well, look, whatever happens over the next 3 months, we're stuck with them. So most contract lengths in this country are usually about 3 months, and obviously that's quite concerning. And also quite more often than not, you can ask your agent, how quickly do you think my home will sell? oh, we can sell homes in a week or 2 weeks or whatever they may tell you. But they're more often than not, they'll ask you to sign a 6-week contract. But if they're that confident in timeframes, there's no need for that contract. So contracts are there only to really protect the agent. There is arguments really for why, but it's often quite selfish, if I'm honest. And even as an agency, yes, we've lost maybe a couple, but in all honesty, if you deliver on service, if you deliver on what you say you're going to do, you can't guarantee a sale, but you can guarantee service and all the bits of information that come in between, the updates, the regular communication, keeping an eye on the market. All of those things make sure that you as a homeowner feel more confident to stick with the agent, and you know at any point you could go, well, look, can you take me off the market with yourselves? We're going to go with another agent at any point. So it's so essential for you as a seller. I've come across the worst case scenario I had after about 2-3 months into the contract. The agent had done a bad floor plan, the pictures weren't right, the no video, lots of media part missing, weren't communicating with the homeowner. And I sat down in the living room and said, look, what can we do? And I said, well, let's have a look at your contract length. And they had 6 months on their contract, and they were only 2 months in, and every bit of communication, because it was a difficult property to sell, stopped. And that became really frustrating for them. So all they were left to do was negotiate whether they could bring in another agent to help sell, and they wouldn't be liable to pay that commission, which they were able also to do, which was quite positive on that front. However, you are beholden, and a lot of estate agents might not necessarily want to go on as a second agent under those terms. So we that was an extreme scenario, but it's not uncommon. When you get that point of frustration, you're 2 months in and you feel like you need to pay 4 months, you got 4 months left with this agent that's not giving you any effort, then you've got real problems. There's another way you can get out of it. Often more than most contracts, again, you can pay to get out of the contract, but that also seems like a false cost, because you're paying basically not for nothing other than just to release yourself from an agent not doing anything. So it makes no sense on that front. So really essential that you're going for those 0-week contracts if you can get them when coming. 6 weeks at worst, I would say, is really the most you should be getting yourself tied into. Most estate agents are negotiable, and if they're not, why not? And they really should give you a really good example of why they should be tying you in for 3 months or longer if they don't believe in what they're trying to do as far as service and time. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully you can take that to wherever you're going next and get the best